thank you guys for coming today. Luecrita and I are going to talk to you a little bit about this student system that we're implementing right now at Pitt State, how we got to where we are, who we're working with, who we're partnering with, and how we chose those partners. So, and then we hope that we'll be able to demo a little bit of the system for you guys so you can kind of see what it looks like. So I know some of you have seen it up close and personal already from Pitt State, but you'll get to see some good stuff, we hope. So we'll give introductions, and then we're just going to talk about, why are we doing this? Why are we putting ourselves through the hell of a new student information system? Who's involved in the process? Who are those partners? When we're doing it, what you should expect if you go through something similar, kind of learning from our lessons, which we've got good, bad, ugly to share, and how can this all help you as you go down the line if you're in the same market as us for a new SIS. So Lou, want to tell them who you are?
Yep. Hi, Luecrita Haraughty. I am the Director of Project and Process Management in IT at Pittsburg State, and I have actually co-chaired the selection of and getting the team together for the selection of the SIS.
And I'm Angela Neria. I'm the Associate VP of Technology and CIO at Pitt State. And Lou and I have both been at Pitt for a while. Most of you probably know a little bit about Pitt. Next year, hopefully you'll come see us. Check will be at Pitt next year. We're located in the southeast corner of Kansas. We are regional. We have about 6,000 students, about 900 employees, and we have 4 colleges at the university. So we're about 3.5 hours from Manhattan, just to kind of give you an idea of where we are. I actually live in Missouri, right across the state line. That's how close to the state line we are. We have lots of people like that. So why did we decide to implement a new student information system? If you've heard Lou and I talk before about change management, you know that we have a very old student system now. It's the only module really left of our old ERP, which was all homegrown. It's we have had code in there that we discovered a few years ago that we were still using for assessment that was created in 1979. So just to give you an idea of the age of some of the code that is in there. So reliability is an issue, security is an issue. When that system was built, there weren't cyber threats, right? The world we live in is very different. It's a fragile product. We have it on a newer box, but the code is still old. We don't have great reporting features in it. Our documentation over the years has not been great, and all of those people are gone. We have no way to ask them, what were you trying to do when you wrote this code? Or when I changed this code, what ripple effects might it have? We just cross our fingers and hope that the changes that we make will result in little to no ripple effects. Jeff's nodding his head because he knows that never happens. But it's all live. Oh, that's a good point. I didn't put that on here. So we don't have great documentation. And then our processes, we built the system around processes that people wanted, not around best business practices. And obviously, business processes have changed since 1970s-ish. And so that system has not been updated. We've just kept doing things the same way. And it's created lots of obstacles for our students. It's not good. It's not good for our students. It's not good for our employees. So we're at a place where we're able to do something about it. And probably the worst piece of it is because we have such poor reporting and we don't have modern tools built into the system, there's no doubt that it's impacted enrollment and retention at our university. And how we've kept growing like we have is a testament to the great people we have at Pitt State, because our system hasn't helped us in that way. And I hate to say terrible things about our system. By the way, our system's name is Gus, and Gus is also the name of our mascot, Gus the gorilla, and Gus stands for Gorilla User System. So I don't know who named him, maybe in the 80s, but that's the name. So Gus is, I don't want to say too many bad things about Gus because he's been good. I guarantee you that when people developed him years and years ago, decades ago, they did not expect us to be using him in 2024. There's no doubt about it, right? So we want to retire Gus and not speak ill of him, but his time is almost up. So, and just to give you some background, we had originally had 4 primary modules in our homegrown Gus ERP system. HR module, we've moved off of our old homegrown. We moved to HCM Oracle Cloud. Finance, again, it was in that old, homegrown ERP, moved to Oracle Cloud Finance. Financial aid, we just moved off of that to Oracle Cloud's financial aid, and we're in the process of moving off of the student information system to Oracle Cloud's student information system. We'll talk a little bit about how we made all that happen and how it came to be. So a PSU search committee made up of campus stakeholders selected each of these products. And going into this, from IT's perspective, we were just really like, we don't care. Pick best of breed. We don't care what you pick. Just make a big giant leap forward. Let's just not stay where we are, and let's make a big giant leap forward. So we facilitated the process. Luecrita was instrumental in facilitating the process of working towards, getting these stakeholders together, looking at rubrics as they measured each of the vendors that came in. Each time, our stakeholder group, which they were different for each of these products, picked Oracle Cloud. And it was close. Actually, whenever they picked HR and finance, they really tied. They said, we could take Oracle Cloud or we could take Workday. Either one of those things is a giant leap forward. We love them both. From a technical perspective, we're like, we love them both. But Oracle came in less expensive, and Oracle had also at the time had their products on the market longer than Workday, and our administration just felt more comfortable with going with Oracle. So that's what we did. Next round, Oracle, next round, Oracle. So the people that were a part of this group were really who made it happen. Subject matter experts from all the functional areas from across campus were involved. And then we began involving implementation partners in preparation for all of this. And we're going to talk a little bit about that and focus on the SIS piece of it. So we do a variety of cadence meetings with Oracle. To this day, we do it. We've done it before we made the decision, and we do them to this day. We look at processes, policies, integrations, and all those things. They're discussed and analyzed, and next steps determined. And as you can imagine, many of our processes and policies are overhauled because we have a system that's based on really old processes that don't make sense anymore in today's environment. So who is our implementation partner for this student information system implementation, and how do we select them? So PSU stakeholders again came together and developed an implementation partner RFP, and it focused on implementing Oracle Student because we knew that we were going to go with Oracle Student. We had 4 implementation partners respond, and then each of those 4 firms came to campus for 2 days, and we really put them through the ringer for those 2, for each, well, it was 8 days total. And we had a rubric that we followed, and it was very helpful to keep an agenda to keep us in line as well. And we did really deep dives into each area that would be impacted by the student system. So people from registrars were there, people from cashiers, admissions, our IT folks, of course, were there, academic affairs, there were some faculty involved. It was a lot of people that knew a lot about their world. And we went into some deep places that I never thought we would get involved with, just with implementation partners. We were really trying to test those implementation partners because Student Cloud, Oracle Student Cloud is brand new. We knew that we would be one of the early adopters, and we really wanted to test those people to see how much they knew. And not just about Oracle Cloud, but how much do you know about higher ed and how we need to be doing our business? Because we're going to be looking to you to really change our business processes. Because remember, we're still doing things from decades ago. We need expertise to bring us up to speed. And that was really critical to us. So we talked to them about change management. We wanted to make sure they had a relationship with Oracle and that they too were doing cadence meetings and that they were getting sneak peeks of the product and knew what was coming. Because again, we're in the first tier of schools putting Oracle Cloud in, and anyone that knows Oracle or Microsoft or anyone like that, you know they're very quiet about what they're going to share. Their roadmap is very vague, let's say. So we needed our implementation partner to have a good relationship with them. We wanted to make sure that they had a history of re-engineering processes with universities and how they did that. They couldn't come in like, like a forceful army of people and make those process changes. We needed them to work with our folks and come to agreement with our folks on those kinds of things. They needed to have the ability to develop and facilitate a cohort on our campus. We wanted, when they left us, to leave us with an active cohort that would allow us to carry on their business after they left. We couldn't keep them on retainer forever, so we wanted to make sure they had an experience doing that. Of course, they had to have technical expertise, and of course, the price had to be right? Like, we couldn't pay these guys millions of dollars and keep them on staff forever. It had to be something that we could actually afford. So when we went through all that process with all 4 of those firms, we ended up landing on DriveStream. So we had not worked with DriveStream before. I don't know if any of you have. Does it sound familiar? Heard of them? They're always at EDUCAUSE, and they always have a big booth at EDUCAUSE. We hadn't worked with them. We checked their references. We felt good about them, and they were named our implementation partner. They really had a plan. All of the firms did a great job, but they really had a plan. And they had high levels of technical expertise and people that had been in the trenches as registrars, as controllers that are involved in the process. So we meet with them regularly, several times a week, cadence meetings, and they share Oracle information and roadmaps with us. They meet with Oracle every week and see the product, so they're able to bring that information back to us. So they're also working with other Oracle Student Management Cloud early adopters like us, and they're connecting all of us, which has been wonderful to be able to have access to those folks. So Oracle is another one of our partners, obviously. That's our vendor. That's who we're buying things from, and they've been a great partner. We have regular cadence meetings with them. What we've told them, they've asked, what can we do to help? We want you to be successful. And what we've said, because everyone hears stories about Oracle, and what we've said is, you need to listen to us. You need to listen to what we're saying and respond to what we're telling you, not just go off and build a product without our input. And they've done a pretty good job of listening to us. Those cadence visits make a difference, but what's really made a difference is they've come to our campus several times. And when I say they've come to our campus, like, they've brought some very high-end people to our campus that I'm sure never dreamed they would be going to Pittsburg, Kansas, right? So it's good stuff. And they all ask about the chicken, which is funny, the fried chicken in Pittsburgh. They've given us a lot of educational opportunities, and they continue to connect us with other early adopters too. When we go to events like EDUCAUSE, to Alliance and things like that, they make sure that we get to have conversations over dinner or lunch or whatever with other universities and colleges that are going through the same process. And I've listed some of those here just to give you an idea of some of our partners that we're working with and learning from and sharing with across the nation right now, because we're all on this journey together. But we've been told repeatedly that we're ahead of these other folks. We're just a little bit ahead of them, which brings up some unique things, right? So sometimes things happen that we don't have a chance to talk to other people that are going through the same thing because we're just a little bit ahead of them. And so it's going to be interesting to see, we didn't want to be in this position necessarily where we were on the cutting edge. We just need to replace our old system really bad, right? Like, it's not about being the first. Oracle has told us repeatedly, you will be our first all Oracle Cloud school. We don't care. We just want to retire Gus and move to something different. That's not our goal. But we're in a position where we are first alive. So these who people, the implementation partners in Oracle, the stakeholders from across our campus really matter, because we're making decisions that not only impact our university, but they're impacting some of these other universities as well. The other partner that I wanted to mention is during all of this, all of our other projects have stopped. Campus has completely stopped asking us to do anything else for them. That's a lie. We have more projects right now than in my 14 years, than we have ever had. I mean, we have a new president. He has new ideas. We have a new student success group. They have ideas. All of these exciting things are happening, and we don't want to let our campus down. Everybody's implementing new technologies, and we don't want to let our campus down. So we've had to backfill. We can't afford to hire additional employees. But we have some vacancies across our department that we've just taken that funding and kind of grouped it together. And we've gone to an outside firm. The name of the firm is Limelight. It happens to be in Pittsburgh, and it happens to have a lot of former Pitt State employees that work at it, that care about Pitt State. They lived on Gus as students, and some of them as faculty. They understand our world. And so we really got lucky with this, guys. So Limelight is our other partner that we're working really closely on this project with. They're backfilling all the projects that we can't do, that we can't fit in. And in some cases, they're helping us with some of our pieces inside the Oracle environment. And so it's been a great relationship. It's been an expensive relationship, I'm not going to lie. And we couldn't do it if we didn't have those vacancies, and we pool that money to pay them. But it's been critical to the success of other areas across campus that we care a lot about, and we want them to, we want their projects to go forward. We don't want them to be on hold because we're an SIS world. So wanted you guys to know about Limelight, and they're awesome. They work with people all over the country. I highly recommend them. They're just great humans. So Lou's going to take over on our timeline and talk to you about that.
Okay. So yeah, Angela's hit on the why and the who. So I'm going to hit on the when and walk through and expectations of our campus, how we're communicating and those kinds of things. And just so you know, there are a few people in this room, Angela and myself, and a couple others that were in here that we've been involved from the very start of all of the Oracle implementations. So Angela was CIO at that time. And so we've lived through the implementation of HCM, finance, student financial planning, which is, we're still doing things there with the fund changes from the federal government for the next 8 years. So just so you know, there are some core people that have been involved in all of those. So we're familiar with Oracle, if you will, and we've had different implementation partners with each one. So just some background there. So the when. So again, right from the start, we started implementing, ideally, HCM and finance were supposed to happen concurrently. Once the sales folks were out the door and the implementation partners were in, they're like, yeah, no, that's not probably going to work real great. So we had to, right from there, be flexible and and decide what we did. There were HCM parts that had to be there to make finance work. So we kind of worked with that, but we did go live with those first implementations in 2017. So we've been functioning in HCM and finance, which includes budget and procurement and all of that since that time. And our last one, the target date is for us to be live in the student system about this time next year. So we've got a lot of work to do in that amount of time, and we're all on board and moving forward, the whole entire campus. So this is just a little bit of a timeline of where we've been, where we're going, and the final task that we have in front of us. So again, Angela mentioned that our Gus Classic, which is what we call it now, it's always been just Gus. Now it's Gus Classic because he's in phased retirement and approaching full retirement soon. And so that was around 1980 when that was all developed and has been functioning since then with modifications and enhancements, as you can see from the next one. Gus Classic has been updated in about 2004. We've made some very exciting things that are peripheral to it and use it more as the data center for that. And so they are outside of the actual coding and system of that. So the new SIS was was made an initiative in 2010. So it's been out there for quite some time. And there's been some things happen along the way that have scared the bejesus out of us. That's happened on the campus that's really kind of helped trigger it again. It's always been a goal for all of leadership at PSU. It was just a matter of getting there, continuing to express the need, and then of course it always comes down to financials and timing and resources and things like that. So we signed the first contract with Oracle in 2015, which again was HCM and finance. And ERP went live in 2017 first. We made that right at the, if I'm remembering correctly, right at the FY. And so that's where we started. And then HCM came at the tail end of that calendar year in 2017 fully. So student financial planning, that is SFP, was our first disbursement was this last fall of 2023. So we've dispersed 2 semesters and are getting ready to do our summer in a couple weeks. And also at that same time, we're working obviously to get everything up and going and doing awarding, which I'm sure any of you that are connected with your financial aid department on your campuses, doing those awards and things to students right now, which has been a struggle and much later than any of us ever anticipated due to those dramatic changes. But we're there. I mean, we are there. We're still working through some things, but we're there. So, and then again, the Oracle Student Management Cloud will be hopefully next spring. That is the target. So just to give you some quick background there. So this is the timeline specifically for student management, OSM. That's how we all referred to it. And by the way, that changed. It used to be SMC, and then we started talking to our implementation partner, and then it became OSM. So again, flexibility always changing, but we're trying to use the appropriate language that Oracle's going to use, that our implementation partners are going to use. So my project at the state is wrong because it was SMC, not OSM, but that's okay.
I remember SMC because we have a private school in our town named St. Mary's Colgan, so I would always remember SMC because of that. Now I'm like, what's it called now?
Yeah, so we started in 2023 with the implementation partner after selection. Student financial aid started all of 2023, have worked through. Again, ideally, we would have been kind of at the tail end of it, right at the calendar year, 2023, beginning of spring. Surprise, it didn't. You know, those things happen, and so we've had to kind of make some adjustments, and summer came a little bit later than we anticipated, and then again, hate to repeat, but the federal government changes was, we were pleased, I will say, I'm going to talk on behalf of our developers, that we were not having to deal with any of the changes and the coding and all that kind of stuff in our legacy system, and that we got to put it back on Oracle and go, you got to deliver it. You know, we had to work with configurations and things like that, but we didn't have to, we could go with them and our implementation partner and say, you know, it's outside of us, basically. So, but we're still, again, working through that on some final stages and just getting the system. But we fully expect summer to go without a hitch, and working so that fall disbursement does as well. So we did early planning with DriveStream for OSM, and that was huge. We hadn't really done much of that before. We didn't really, I mean, once we got with the HCM side and those kinds of things, we pretty much just started in with the implementation. So we had a good 4 months plus of just sitting down with DriveStream and saying, okay, what are your processes? Walking through them. They had a plan. They knew, you know, the things to ask, the things we needed to share, the things we needed to deliver. And so extremely helpful, much different than what we had done previously with other implementation partners. And so that really set us down a good path. And now we have started the actual implementation. So that started in the fall-ish, and of actually doing configuration workbooks, sending files, all those kinds of things, to be able to get to a point where we are now in our environment come April. This is just a few weeks ago, that we were in the application and actually seeing some things limited, and I'll show you that here in a little bit. We'll actually get to see it. So, and then afterwards, we have a relationship, and this was built into the contract with DriveStream, that they will support us for a while longer, so that we can really lean on them, and they'll still We'll both still have the contact with Oracle, but they will certainly have the contact with Oracle as they continue to implement other universities and institutions. So, excuse me. So what should our campus expect? And this is something that we have communicated. We just had a kickoff meeting in April. It was small. We invited the campus to an event. It was small. It was concise. We didn't want to, have a big to-do, but it is a big to-do because this is a huge thing, huge thing on our campus, obviously.
Thought like 30 people would show up, but I think we had 80.
Yeah.
Yeah. From all walks of
You
life.
know.
Huh?
It was standing room only.
Yeah.
People, there were no seats left and people were around that, but we really thought it'd be like 30 people, be like, just make this work, IT people. We don't need it.
Yeah.
But we were
Exactly. And of course, that was not the first time. They've been hearing about this. They've been told when the selection was made. Many experts were on the committees. They communicated it out to their areas. We spoke with deans.
Yeah,
we
we
spoke with
presented
all
many
leadership.
times at professional development days, and but yeah, this wasn't the first.
Yeah, right. It wasn't like, hey, guess what? Come here. We gotta kick off here, and this is what we're doing. So everybody has been very aware. We put little tidbits in some daily things that our marketing team sends out, and just to kind of keep them up to date of where we are and what we're doing moving forward. So, what could they expect? Process changes. Absolutely 100%. The way you used to do it is not the way it's going to happen inside of student management. I'm not saying some of them might not be close, might not be that different, but they will be. There's still going to be that difference. So we've prepared them for that. And the core people who is going to have probably the largest change impact, are part of the team. So they're expecting it, and they're looking to our implementation partner, but internally as well, of how can we do this better? This is a real pain point for us now, because I have to go through 10 different screens to be able to get this done. And so I think there's, some hesitation and probably a little bit of being scared, but definitely excitement too, to hopefully make their jobs more efficient. System updates. Oracle Cloud, they have regular system updates. It's a cloud system. We've lived this with HCM and finance, and so folks on campus know it, and that will be something that will be a regular thing that we have to be on top of.
And just keep in mind, with a homegrown system, we control all of that, right? Now we have no control of when those happen and what comes. So that's a very big change for our campus.
Yeah. So expect the unexpected. Don't really need to hesitate or expand on that, because that's just part of technology too. So we've told them to expect that. Things may not work exactly the way that they should, or we may have to go back and adjust as we go through different levels of testing and things like that. So there's going to be successes and there's going to be failures, and that's okay. That's how we're going to make our system what we need it to be, what it has to be. And so we've encouraged them then to, not get discouraged either, because there will be both. And there's pros and cons of the system. As we've said from day one, not every system is going to solve everything we have. And it's not going to be the end-all, be-all that we want, because we are looking at more industry standards, and we've been very accustomed to doing what we want since the 80s. So that's not necessarily going to be the case anymore. There will be training experiences. We will most definitely be out there and working with them. We're a partner. It's not just this team. We're not going to leave you high and dry. We're going to work through this, and those opportunities are going to be there. Project position descriptions might change for some people. What they do, the majority of their time, where they spend time right now, might change. And so that's something we made them aware of, and we are building the campus cohort to support these areas. So there will be a team of all of these different areas that touch Oracle Cloud. And keep in mind, just so you know, and you'll see this in a little bit, 3 of these, what I'll call systems, applications, and module, HCM, the ERP, which is finance and budget, and student are all in the same environments. So we have 3 environments, we have 2 test environments, and we have a production environment. And those folks will all be in those same environments. And so we have to know how things affect and work. And simple things like, can we refresh the system? Can we do a copy from our production back to our test? Is that okay? Is this really bad timing for HCM? Is this, so those are things we're all going to have to work on and coordinate with. Right now, student financial planning is indifferent. And we don't really know whether they'll ever be brought in. But, so they're kind of on the side there, but those are things we have to think about. So how do we get to this journey of having a full functioning student system? Transparency. The team, the folks, everybody that's involved have to be transparent. The communication has to be there so that nobody feels like they're left out and they don't know what's going on. So we try a lot of different avenues, a lot of different communication methods. Willing hearts. These are all things, and in fact, we did this presentation briefly at our kickoff. And so willing hearts. We need people to be willing to learn it, to test it, and we will expand further into the process of pulling in those folks. Trainers. If you're a willing heart and you can get this and understand it, and we know they will, because we're gonna work really hard to make sure that happens. Are you willing to train? Are you willing to go out and help others in other departments and understand this? Faculty members, whoever it might be. So definitely need feedback and responsiveness. So if you're testing the system, let us know what's not working. What is a pain point? How, what you don't understand. So we need to know that so then we can go forward, talk to our implementation partner, maybe make an enhancement suggest with Oracle in and of itself, because they're still developing this product. It's new. And so, say, really we think not just PSU, universities really need this. You missed the boat on this, or how can we do this differently? So those are very important. And then the other things, really quick, please have patience, please be flexible, and please be understanding. It's hard. We've been there. This is going to be a larger group than it has been in the past with very focused areas. And it's not easy. And, we've known that some people don't make it through it. It's hard. I mean, I won't lie. I know of a couple probably already is like, yeah, I might go ahead and retire. And that, we understand. We understand it is hard. But in the end, it's going to be good. In the end, it will be better, without a doubt. So, and then just using other people's guidance and expertise. Again, let us know, what you need. And we can't guarantee by any means that we can get you specifically there, but we will do what we can to find out if we can. So.
And on guidance and experience, I would just mention that some of the most interesting folks that I think have been helpful to us is people that have come from other universities. We have a lot of people that have only worked at Pitt State. They only know Pitt State. They only know Gus Classic. So having people that have used Banner and PeopleSoft and things like that come to our university, whether they're faculty or on the support side of things, their comments have been very helpful. Their suggestions, and even the pain points of what they've gone in at other institutions has helped us greatly to plan.
Okay.
So Lou's going to give you a quick look at some of.
I got 5 minutes or so here, so I'm going to give you a quick look of what this system kind of looks like. Now, please keep in mind, we have been through only the first iteration. So in about the 3rd week of April is the first time that really any of us other than on demos have gotten into the system, seen the system, walked through some things, and right now we're doing self-testing, walking through what's not right, what's needs changed, questions, all those kinds of things. There's a lot of data that is not in there yet. I will say that that is one thing that we're working on. There's no student data in here yet. We have test student data in here. We do have some of our courses, and I'm going to show you that, course information and things like that. We're still working through branding. Oracle's actually still working from going from one interface design look into another. So I may pop on some here, and I can't remember, that it may look like kind of like this, like the old, and then they're going to a new. And so just keep that in mind as I move through here and kind of show you some things.
The ugly.
Yeah.
The ugly. But we just thought you might find it interesting to see what we're in right now.
So again, this is our overall environment that has all of those in there, with the exception of student planning. So when we go inside of here, we have the academics area. And you'll see that there's a couple of different ways to search for some things. Again, this is one of the very first things that we asked. This is something they are working on and improving as far as a search and how you actually get to certain levels of things. So what we had been advised to start with is really just go to this person search, and it moves you over into the student management area. So you'll see it's a little bit different, and it pulls up, but in order to search this, you have to go up to this hamburger stack, whatever you want to call it, and then there's lots of different areas that are specific. This is the administrative side. Sorry, I didn't share that. This is what a person, a staff member and things like that would be functioning inside of. So this is not a student view at this time. So I'm going to put in course sections. And it's in the test environment, so it is a little slow at times. And you will see that we've put in data of all of, or most of, our different course information with the different sections. So I'll just go to environmental life science. And as certain people on campus are going to know very specific things. This section code 99 for us is an online session or section, so just FYI. So, you can identify and different things. I don't know what 87 is for statistics, but where'd my environmental life science? There we go. So I'll pull up, hopefully. It worked for me this morning, so. And this just kind of breaks you down on the very specific things. So this is kind of where data would be loaded for these course sections. Ideally, and I honestly don't remember I don't think it's there yet, but we've requested, there is the capability of copying over. So, we don't want to have to go and input all of these things, whether it be from a config workbook or definitely not manual. We're not doing that. So, but of once we've got it set up in one semester, we can move anything forward and set it up for an additional semester. So that's all in the works. There's lots of things on the roadmap from Oracle that we're still waiting to hear from our implementation partner, things they're still checking into that is coming or that will definitely be available once we go live. So just your basic course information here. As you can see, it's section 4. Course number, that's just in the system type identification. It's available in the catalog, so that means it's out there for students to be able to select it. Capacity, wait list, you can change all of this. Tags we're still developing, so there's a lot of things in here that still need to be worked through and tested, and that's what we're doing right now. Administrative data, this tells you what kind of course it is. Descriptive text, I can tell you we don't have this in here yet, but this would be a course description. So ownership will tell you what part of the university owns the specific course, which it will be arts and sciences. Academic, biology is actually a department. And the meeting information. So this tells you again, when does the class start? When does it end? Days and times, what building it's in, and then staffing. And these are all things that can be updated, changed, you can add, those kinds of things. So very, very clean, precise, all in one location with a few clicks of, making some changes. Just to see, this is just basically a list of our courses. Lots of different courses and their course number, and then you can drill down into that as well. Just some very basic things. Again, I don't have any, and then this is, sometimes if you go back button, it'll send you someplace. So it's a little bit of a Easter egg hunt right now at times. But you can see we can set up fees, academic structure. There's specific things for branding, which our marketing department will be a part of. Just a variety of things that you have to go through and set up and get built out. And then lots of things within that. So academic organizations, academic levels. Levels is should be bachelor's, master's, doctoral, whatever we have at PSU, undergrad, grad, doctoral. So am I getting close on time? I'm over on time. So let me show you. This is the actual what they call learner's catalog, and it's basically the catalog. So you can do a lot of popular programs, new programs, popular courses. You can design this kind of in the way that you want and build out, and then you can drill down into a specific, let me go into a course here, just so you can see this. And this is out there, it's not, it's on test, but this is what will be out there for students to go in and select and add to their cart. So it's more of like an Amazon feel or any other kind of feel, and has information. But again, there's a lot of data that we do not have in there yet. And just basic things, and they've got their little radio button. So that's kind of a really quick of kind of what it's going to look like.
So very different than what we have now, right? So what questions, if any, do you guys have for us? Yes.
Is it to be used in conjunction with like Canvas or Blackboard, or does it take the place of Canvas?
It doesn't take the place. Canvas will still be, we use Canvas, and that will still be our learning management system. It does integrate with Canvas, so all of the courses in the course catalog will be dumped into Canvas so students can see their things there. Right now, though, our faculty do put grades in Canvas, and then they put grades in Gus Classic, and that will end. They won't have to they put final grades in Gus Classic and midterm grades. They won't have to do that anymore because we'll have an integration, which we don't have now, which we think will make them happy. We hope. Good question. Yes.
How did you evaluate and then get comfortable with the risk of a brand new platform?
Okay. I would say anything, let's say it this way. We knew that we could not continue to fiscally do a homegrown system and keep our university safe. Forget about all the bells and whistles and the cool stuff we need to have to make us modern. We knew we couldn't keep us secure. So we knew that we would move to a new platform no matter what. I mean,
was thinking more of the risk of Oracle student as a new platform versus.
Oh, I'm sorry, versus Banner or something like that. Good question. I'm sorry. So the reason I think that it really came down to what the search committee chose, but I really think it came down to the step from Gus Classic to Banner wasn't big enough. The leap wasn't big enough. It might have been technically in the background, but from what they saw from a user interface, as many bad things as I've said about Gus Classic today, these guys make it look really good. You know what I mean? Like it's like lipstick on a pig kind of thing, but our clients don't know that, right? So I really feel like the search committee, what they came back with, the jump just wasn't big enough. Like they wanted to do something that would last a long time and would be a big jump. And
technically, really, we evaluated the different products as well, and the direction that Oracle was heading technically actually was just right on track and aligned with a lot of the things we were seeing, and the other companies would have been fine and anybody would work, but they just didn't seem to have quite the same, vision. Oracle, one thing that I like about them, even though we're ending up with all Oracle products, they will sell you any individual product and you can integrate it with everything else. None of the other vendors will do that. Some will tell you they'll say this or that, but that was one of the issues we ended up having, with Workday. We looked at them and they used to sell you different pieces like that. We really need financial aid first because the upcoming changes we knew and would be impossible to maintain. They wouldn't do that unless we replaced everything. So,
Good question. Thank you, guys. Appreciate you coming.